Wow. I'm actually live. There's so much stuff because we're going to brew a lot of different coffees. Something along the lines of that, I think. And apparently this is also streaming for shorts? 4:33. Oh, my V. We're off by a little. Oh, will this fit in the frame here? We can advertise the Pico lots. Okay. Well, what we have today is something fun. We have, let's see, I have about an hour and a half. Put some lenses away, move some camera gear around. So I have this tasting set from Terraform roasted in, what am I trying to say? I need to wake up. So I have this aloe set that I picked up from Mandarin Coffee Stand a few days ago. And this is roasted by Terraform. And there are 5 different lots. I believe they are Terraform special lots of coffee. And it came in this, it's a little cute box like this. And here are all of the coffees. So these are all Tamiru coffees, if you want to read. If you guys want to read this. It's a little crumpled, but here's the processing for each of them. So we have washed, anaerobic natural, lactic washed, lactic natural. These are all 7, 4, 1, 5, 8, numbers of a varietal. And then, roasted in Shanghai. And unfortunately, we don't have real-time translations on YouTube stream, but what we can show off are each of these. So these are all roasted on the 13th, and this is a significant amount of effort. So these are all little, I believe, 16-gram bags. If you take a look at this, it's very cute. So we're going to brew this all on here because I'm lazy. I don't feel like making 16 pour overs, so we're going to have the machine do it. And let's see, let's start with lot 1. Here, so I'll show you guys. Yeah, wow, they even give you a little card for this. So for those of you who want to read, you can. We have this. So this is number 1. Maybe I'll take a photo of these and I'll put it in the Discord. I think I'll take a photo of these and I'll put it in the Discord, and then we can look at the exact processing details. But for those of you who have tasted Tamiru coffees, what's been really interesting is he is really doing some fascinating fermentation. So for those of you guys who remember things like the Say Blanched Natural, some of the anaerobic processing coffees, they've been really fascinating in terms of, I would say, the quality of coffee, right? It's kind of like when you take, or of recent times when you've taken really nice varietals like Pink Bourbon or Sidra or even Gesha, dare I say, and do very fascinating processing to it, right? Or like these, I'm going to shill these guys, buy some Pico a lot. This is the Hachi Katura. That's insane. I think I'm saving that for a later stream, some other content. And then this is the Land Race. This is the Haiku. This is the Land Race that's been Gesha fermented, right? So it's it seems like if you take, nicer varietals and you process it, it can create a very unique expression, if not, take these coffees to another level, right? I do think that some producers and some, coffee enthusiasts do think it's a shame to take some of those varietals and, process them like crazy, your Geshas. But I do think there's the low end really benefits, and then this mid-range, not to say that 74158 is a bad varietal, the mid to high end range seems to go bonkers when you do interesting processing to it. So let's go ahead and actually brew these, and I'm gonna use this. So this is fun. So I picked this up from Brian, from Ondo Man. But this is the gritholder. This is actually literally the first time I used it. I just assembled it. I just got set up. We're using the little baby O today. And let me hook up my phone to it. These are all 16-gram doses. I guess that should be okay for all of this. We're going to hook up to the machine here. And I think this should be high enough clarity, right? Like, also I want to mention, this is a lot of coffee, a lot of quality coffee for $21. So this set was $21 for 5 coffees, 16 grams a piece, you know, roasted, probably fairly nice. Am I consuming caffeine this stream? I'm not sure yet. I think I think I'm gonna sip and spit, or we're gonna like try to brew in a lot of these carafes, and then we'll figure something out. But let's start with number 1, which is just the normal wash. And I'll post photos of each of the exact processing details in the Discord, and then we can run some AI translation on everything. But pretty much, let's do number 1. So I think this is just like super fun. It's also $21 for 100 grams. Wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, so I think this is like what is awesome is you can have a collection of all of these coffees for $21, right? Here, let's take a photo. I don't know if my camera can do that. Actually, or if somebody wants to screenshot this. Like, whoa, look at this. Look at my fan of coffees. Yeah, I think this is like what's really fun about this is they're giving you all of these coffees for you to taste, right? Because maybe you have a favorite. You'll have a coffee that will stand out, that is, you know, more in line with what you personally prefer, or you know, might be interesting to you. And I think that's what's really, really cool about this is, you know, we are getting this level of expression from one producer, from one varietal, and from one roaster, right? So we're able to taste a very nice expression of these coffees, and you know, we will see which one we like the most. I have a feeling that I will... Actually, I don't know which one I like the most. Just a little card. And yeah, I'm assuming I can just tear this. Nope, I have to actually cut it. Or I'll box cutter it. Yeah, so this is like a one time you gotta do it, right? Actually, here, let's actually use scissors. Let's like not potentially cut myself on a stream. But these beans are so tiny. These are, your tiny Ethiopian beans grown at 2,450 meters above sea level. Wow, okay, this is actually kind of hard to cut through. Ooh, this smells really nice. Let's see. Should be 16 grams. Yep. Gave a little bit more. Ooh, we have 17 grams. Wow, that's crazy. So, if you want to see this, it's actually pretty nice. Yeah, that's light. Lightly roasted. So this is number 1. So we'll do number 1, and then we will go down the line. I have to look at the chat. No. How do you even brew that much at once? I mean, I am not brewing. I just want to taste, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to brew all of these. I'm going to see what happens. So actually here, I will... Well, let's just throw it all in and see what happens, right? It can't hurt. Yeah. I was like trying to figure this out. I was like, why is this not sticking? I was like, oh right, this is the baby O. So let me actually do a little pre-wet. Gotta weigh the paper filter down a little. And we're gonna try the grit holder. So this is also the first time using the grit holder. So let's see if this works. It's always scary, you know. And I have, let's see, let's look at my recipe. I have a pretty good recipe that should work. But that is scary. You know, you only get one try at this. So we got to make sure this is a good. We got to make sure this actually works. You know. One bean of each. No. So you could do like 10 tens of each, but we are. Oh, I had a yaye recipe. Okay, we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna up this to 17 grams. I think I'll keep the grind the same. And I think we'll brew everything at 95. Actually, let's do like 95, then we'll like decline. We'll do a little declining recipe. And I think I'm gonna do the same recipe for everything because I'm lazy, right? Don't think we need agitation at the end, so. I'm being very meticulous with my recipe creation because I don't really have to do much on this. All right, we are at grind 58, which feels like it should be okay. Terraform. Also considering this is a open bottom, it should be pretty quick. There we go. Oh, wow. That is super clean smelling. Magnolia, yeah. Bergamot. Super floral smelling. Really, really clean. Wow, that's so hard to do. Okay, see, I can just knock all these out with one machine. All right, let's do number 2. I'm gonna run out of crafts and cups, but I'm gonna do I'm gonna have multiple crafts. I'm gonna scoop into each, and we're gonna taste. I think that is the strat. So while this is going, let's do number 2. Let's see if the camera can show this off, which I don't know. But it looks like they're a little generous. They're giving us a little bit more than 15 grams. So this is lot 1. I'm gonna line up lot 2. So 2, by the way, is anaerobic wash. So, oh wow, smells way different. Yep, okay, they're generous. We are getting 17 grams out of all of these. They're giving an extra 2 grams. I have 17 grams here. And this one, you can see there's a little bit more process on it. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be like impossible to see on the stream, but slightly more process. I think it'll be pretty apparent when we actually brew. But I think the grind seems to be pretty good. I think we're gonna get decent enough clarity out of the xbloom today. We're lazy. I'm the lazy. Nothing insane today on the stream. I'm just trying to have fun and brew some nice coffee. Wow. Very, I mean, it's just so, like, floral and clean. Yeah, it smells really nice. Hopefully I have my stuff dialed in. I always forget with these Ethiopian coffees, you can definitely potentially clog, even though this is these are the xbloom paper filters with the not Z1, oh my god, the O1. And this is pretty cool. You know, it gives you a little bit more flavor expression. You know, different type of expression when you can use different brewers. The O1 and the Omni Dripper and S-Works, whatever you want to fit under here with the grit holder, definitely all has different expressions. And you know, if you have one of these machines, you get one of these, it will help you play around a little bit more. So I think that's fun. Did you buy the current Pico lots? These are so good. I might open them up, not today, maybe for a different date, for a different stream. I think I'm gonna make some reels. We're gonna film stuff. I might make a reel on this guy. This is pretty fun. This from Grit Workshop. Grit holder. So this wraps up in, you know, about a little under 4 minutes. Maybe I might coarsen up the grind a little, but let me give this a taste real quick, and we'll go from there. But it smells incredible. I'm just gonna toss all the beans in here. Very melony. Wow. That smells nice. Okay, let me get a spoon. I'm gonna do what Ray was doing in this other. You guys will see this really ridiculous video of how he brews coffee, and I know it will upset people because people will be like, why the fuck is this guy spending 15 minutes before he even brews the cup of coffee? This is anaerobic washed. Let's see if we need to adjust our grind a little. It looks very extracted. Maybe we're too fine. It's scary. You're a little too fine. The next Pico lot is probably going to be a Mochita coffee, just for an FYI. We probably are going to release Agua Catillo in a few weeks. We're trying to do some more stuff, like one more release before the end of the year. Are those symbiotic coffee process? Yes, so it's the Hachi stuff, Panama Hachi. Oh wow, there's a lot happening. I need to let this coffee cool. Maybe a little fine. I'm gonna make this a slightly coarser for the next coffee. So I think let's make these. Because these are all 17 grams, and I was trying to do it for 16, but I think I'll make this slightly coarser, just a little bit coarser, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna let that one cool, and we'll taste it slightly coarser. Just because I think I could pull out a little bit more. But so floral. Bergamot is a note that they have on here. I totally get it. Either below. Wow, you are the first to complain that there's too much coffee. We're trying to, these are okay. Wow. Actually, let me talk about this a lot after. Lemongrass. Oh, lemongrass. Yeah, lemongrass peach green tea. So this is the anaerobic washed. This is pretty cool. Yeah, you're the first person to actually complain. You're the first to complain that there is too much coffee. I do think these are two coffees that the price points of them make sense. Why we give you so much more. We could charge you more if you really wanted to, but there's going to be Mochita after. Yeah, we could do 2 bag size options. That is a choice. But for now, yeah, that's a good idea. We could do 2 bag sizes. Very, very okay. So the standard wash, very, very clean. Super. Wow, super clean. Lots of good florality. Bergamot, yellow. It's very yellow tasting to me. Super clean. And I'm not even using that. I'm not even using like very high-end gear, right? I'm just using normal stuff. And but there definitely are just like there's so much florality in this coffee. I'm very excited to see how just the wash tastes, and then there's also a lactic washed here that we can compare to. But I'm gonna line them all up. I'm gonna have them all brewed. I'm gonna line them all up, and we're gonna taste them. But let's do number 3 next, which is it's an anaerobic natural. So personally, I much prefer the Tamiri's naturals. I think they're very fascinating because I've had a lot of the washed expression. So some of the natural stuff is a little more fascinating to me. Wow, they are giving us more coffee than 15 grams. But the washed coffees are just like really beautiful. Like if you guys have had that first experience of ever tasting like a really nice coffee from Pepe, like his Típica Mejorados, I feel like I get a very similar experience with some of these coffees where I'm like, wow, there's so much detail, so much complexity, even though these coffees are not insanely loud, right? Like the wash coffees are not as loud as like this natural we're probably gonna brew. I find that the expressions are it's like there's so much happening, and it's very fascinating to experience. That's lovely. So this is the wash. I'm going to put the card with the coffee. So this is number 1, which you guys probably won't be able to see. I'm going to put this back here. 1. And this is 2. And then I think I'm going to move some of these into different carafes. These are all about 1 to 16 ratio. So yeah, Terraform. Look at this box. Look how much information's on this box. Very detailed. So this is 1. I'm really liking wow. This is great. Now we move on to anaerobic washed. And then we're going to do the lactic natural. So here's the anaerobic wash. Anaerobic wash is smelling pretty crazy too. Wow. Okay. I need to let these coffees really cool down. So this is lot 2. Then we're gonna go down the line. I'm gonna have all these guys lined up. And we're brewing a little larger. You know, usually if you were running the setup, like if you go to On Demand shop, you get everything, you know, plumbed in and it's easy to do. But this makes my life easy because I have at least a singular-ish comparison point, as in I'm running, you know, the same-ish recipe on all of these coffees. So at least like the brew is not really the thing that's like messing things up. Let me fire off this guy. So now this is, we've moved on to, you know, I just want to get all these guys all brewed before we do anything else. Now this is the anaerobic natural. Oh, wow. Very impressionable. Definitely red fruit, strawberry, yogurty, I guess. Pineapple, tropical. You know, very classic anaerobic natural presentation. It's gonna be the next coffee. We're running out of room for these carafes. Actually, can you guys even see these carafes? Oh, you guys can barely. Okay, hold on. Let me move things back a little. Right here. Okay, so this is 1. This is 2. This will be 3. I'm gonna get some more cups for 4 and 5, but very nice. All downhill after wash? Come on, man. I low-key want to buy more coffee if my mom drinks half of it. Hey, you know, it's speed up the consumption. Speed up your consumption. There are always more coffees to enjoy. And let's do number 4, lactic wash, and then lactic natural. So let's see how much they give. No processing allowed, dude. I think processing is fun. Like, I'm on a processing kick right now. I mean, okay, I after tasting this just normal wash one, I'm like, wow, there's, you know, the beauty of wash coffee. But you know, I do think this is such a great introduction to Meru's coffees and aloe, because you can get so much. You can get so many different flavor expressions from a single varietal, single producer, you know, and same roaster. And this is a lot of work for a roaster to do here, which is like pretty fun when you think about it. You're like, wow, they're putting in so much effort to bring me these coffees. I'm gonna let that finish up. Grabbing some more vessels to brew coffee in. Here, we can just brew into these Oreo mug thingies. Let's see. Actually, I don't need to brew directly into these. I can always just brew and then put it into a carafe and then go from there. All right, here we go. This is exciting. Yeah, the Indo ferments were good. I'm still waiting on some like Filipino coffee I want to explore. But yeah, we're probably gonna have. So I was talking about these these ones. I'll probably brew on a stream at some time. I'm not sure yet. You know, there's so much coffee to always explore and talk about, and yeah. Let's see. Actually, let me get another cup to use as like a little rinsing thingy. Or cupping bowl. It's not even cup. All right. But I haven't tasted any of the anaerobic washed yet, so let me taste that in a sec. The natural smelling pretty crazy. You know, like, I think the anaerobic stuff is just fun. You know, it's kind of like it's very impressionable. You know, it makes an impression on you. Especially again when I was talking about it at the beginning, I was like, oh, you know, taking processing on some of these mid to high end varietals, you know, non-Gesha varietals that are also very high end, and like processing them, kind of fun. Or to some of you, against the rules and should be deleted. But here we go. Okay, so let's see if the stream can see it. So this should be 1. Yeah, this is 1. Put the card here. You guys do not see the card. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I already put 4 in the grinder, I believe. And then we'll do 5. So I think what we should do is let's reuse this carafe. So this is 3. Wow. Definitely fermentation you can smell on there. That is very, very apparent fermentation to me. Let me rinse this guy out. Okay, so this is the washed. Wow, so floral, so sweet. Magnolia or like yellow flowers is definitely a note that's on this coffee. Also very bergamot-y, which is kind of interesting. Like it's almost like Panama bergamot-y, which is like really fascinating if you think about it. Gonna rinse my spoon in here, and then let's taste this. This is the anaerobic washed. So I think it'll be fun to taste wash against anaerobic washed. Wow. Okay. That is extremely different. I gotta go back to that. 1 second. Let me start this brew. And so I can be efficient with my time. But also these are coffees that once they really cool down, they're really, really opening up. Like I think there's just more and more. So now we've moved on to, so okay, wash, anaerobic natural, lactic washed. I want to smell this. I definitely smell processing. Doesn't smell as floral as the first one that I did. But you know, we'll find out. All right, and then finally, lactic natural. So it'll be fun to taste wash versus anaerobic wash versus lactic wash, and then taste the lactic wash against the lactic natural, and then anaerobic natural against the lactic natural. So the fact that for 21 bucks I have 5 different coffees is pretty cool. And they're all processed very differently. So there we go. This is the number 5. And once I get them all here, and you know these are all still pretty hot, you know we'll be able to taste. Lactic, yeah, you smell the lactic on there. You smell like there's kind of like a milkiness to this. I don't know if that's like the correct word to use, but you definitely can smell that it's not as like a clearer or like a sharper presentation that I think these two coffees have. I've not looked at the chat in a bit. I'm just kind of rambling. I think there's definitely enough clarity from the xbloom grinder. I'm lazy. I just want to push buttons, man. Okay. Let's taste the washed. Anaerobic wash has like this lemongrass, like very very like much sharper acidity. Normal washed. Normal wash is like super floral. They're both very tea-like, but I think the anaerobic has like a little more, well, I don't know what the, we got to read the processing, right? But a little more of this like tropical acidity that, like, this is more floral is what I'm saying. This has like this nice tropical acidity. They both are tropical, but I would say the acidity is the first thing that jumps out for me in the anaerobic. It is still very clean, but I think the normal wash is super floral, bergamot-y, jasmine. Oh my God, I'm just saying Panama geisha notes. This is like that too, but instead of it being like bergamot, it's lemongrass, like peachy lemongrass, with also some jasmine. And this is more like floral forward, although I did make this slightly coarser, so could be the difference there. But really, really clean roast, really clean coffee. It's a little bit of about a month off roast. Now let's try this anaerobic natural. Wow. Red fruit candy fermentation, rose, peach. Wow, that's memorable. I think this is a little too much for some people. Well, actually, is it too much? It's interesting. So you taste all this fermentation. Like red fruit, pineapple-y, rose-ish finish. I think they have a rose note on here. Floral finish. Long linger. But not the processing and like the fruitiness of the anaerobic processing does not seem to be over in any sort of way. Like, it's not overdone. And this roast is very, very clean. Like, this roast is like, this is what this coffee should taste like, right? And that's why people like Terraform. I really like this, actually. I'm a funk enjoyer. Like, it's really nice. It actually has some of this, to me it has like some of this jasmine-y or bergamot-y component. I would say more jasmine, like the tea-likeness in this coffee at the finish. But I get all this like very expressive, structured fruits. It is actually kind of round too, very juicy. Really, really tasty. Super sweet. Very memorable. And this is the lactic washed, which we'll dump into here. And then we will do a final brew of the fifth lot that they have. Running out of water. 1 second. Get some more water. I didn't actually brew much coffee these past few days. I just went to shops and I had these shops brew me coffee, and I want to say I would be very happy if I paid for any of these in a shop. Given this, right? You just have the machine do it. Machine tastes good. Yeah, very. These are all really nice. I do think. We got to taste the lactic, but I do think. I had like, I don't know if it's the exact same green, we'll have to explore that, but I did have a wash aloe roasted by La Cabra, and, it wasn't like super memorable. It was just very okay. And I want to say, like, this is similar, a lot of those washed aloe coffees are like in that realm, I would say. They all taste very peachy. There's lovely florality, really good sweetness. Clean if the roast is done well. But I think whatever this Terraform lot is, it takes a lot of those like more normal attributes, and I think I'm finding like a level of expressiveness in this. More acid, more sharp, more dynamics, more like quote unquote interesting things that I think are, that make some of these coffees very memorable. AKA, like if you've ever had, if currently say has the white honey from Tamiru, it's like that. It's like very memorable, but it's really clean fermentation. That's what's fun, right? That's like what makes all this coffee stuff fun. All right, now let's do the final lactic natural, which I think will probably smell crazy when we brew it. Wow. Okay, it's like this anaerobic, but like maybe a little more muted, maybe not as sharp, I don't know. It's like, well, little over for me, I don't know. I definitely think this is one of these coffees where you got to taste it. You know, it could be one of those ones where it's like when you brew it, it's not the smellest, not the nicest smelling. Yeah, I mean, in Vegas there are not that many options. Okay, let's taste lactic washed. Okay, lactic wash. So I want to do my comparison of lactic wash versus anaerobic wash versus normal wash. So lactic wash, let's taste. Weird. Kind of weird. Whoa. They have a Yakult note on this. That is kind of what I'm tasting. Little cursed. It's very like milky and like Calpico, Yakult. Like that's the first thing that hits you. And then it goes into like apricot, apple. There's like a red apple juiciness. I totally could see that. It is very round, very, you know, not there aren't things that are like jumping out in terms of like how sharp the acidity is. Let's go to anaerobic wash now. Anaerobic wash. This had like this milkiness to it that was like veiled. It was like covering up a lot of the acidity. Anaerobic wash like removes that veil. It's like tropical acidity. It's very, very peachy. It's sharp. It's much sharper. Really nice jasmine or like a tea finish. Not getting much tea in this. This is just like Calpico, Yakult. I'll let this one cool down. I would say the finisher, I still think, despite the processing that you can taste in this one, it is still very clean and sweet. Like there isn't any pain. Oh wow! And then like, I think this is a sharper acidity. The anaerobic in this tasting set, anaerobic here has like the most apparent acidity to me of the wash coffees out of here. This has the most florality. Let me taste this side by side. Yeah, this has like just, you know, like, it's like yellow flowers, bergamot. Very, very clean. You get more like acidity towards the back. This is like acidity forward. And this is like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. What's going on here? This is like Yakult. And this is more like red. Or it's not as bright as yellow. I would say this is the brightest coffee out of the wash here. Let me taste the anaerobic natural. Again. Actually, why am I doing this? I'm like scooping into my thing. I could just scoop directly from it. I'm not sharing coffee with anyone. That was a waste of time. Are there any coffees you like that others find disgusting? Yeah, dude. Goofy stuff. There's also some Indian coffees that I think are just like absolutely fascinating. So on xbloom we have an Excelsa Natural. Scary. You know, I think these are like divisive coffees. You know, could upset some people. Okay, so I have all 5 of the coffees here. I have my spread. This is kind of cool. I'm gonna take a photo of this. Kind of cool. We got all of the beans. Five coffees. They, like, first of all, I gotta say, this is really, really cool, right? 21 bucks. 5 coffees. They all taste distinctively different, although we haven't tasted this one, so we'll taste this one. There's a fair bit of mileage here. You know, I was got 17 grams out of all these. They give an extra 2 grams in all of these. And they all smell way different. Like, you know, I don't think, like, I think this is really fun because each of these coffees is actually very distinctively different. Like, you can be a normie, you can get this set, you'd be like, whoa, they all taste, coffee's fascinating, they all taste different. But also, I think this is a great example of like just, you know, producer and processing. The fact that these are all the same varietal, you know, you're not tasting like Gesha versus Typica or something like that, right? We're tasting the same varietal, but different processing, and different expressions of processing, both classic and advanced, right? I would say, you know, anaerobic and the lactic are more advanced processes, although in today's landscape, things go whack. But it's very, very fun. Whoa. Lactic natural, I'm not sure about, man. Maybe we gotta like, let me like mix this up. So lactic natural, what the hell is happening here? They say yogurt. Yep, definitely yogurt. Blueberry, pineapple. I'm not getting much blueberry and pineapple right now. I'm getting a lot of yogurt. I guess, you know, also the lactic wash. Okay, so I think let's taste these two side by side. So this is the lactic wash. Yakult, juicy red apple. Very, very sweet. I could see a little bit of that apricot in the back. Long linger on my palate. Mostly just this Yakult. Mostly like milkiness. Dietary drink. Okay, lactic natural. It's weird. It's kind of weird. Yogurty, milky, forward. So that's the same thing with the wash. So it's very forward. It's like I'm not really tasting much acidity front, or like that's not the first thing that hits me, right? Then it goes into like kind of blueberry, like if you really liked those classic Ethiopian naturals, right? There's a little bit of blueberry, and then the finish has like kind of weird processing finish, or like I want to say yellow leaning in the finish. There's a lot happening. I'm not sure. Now let's taste the so that was the lactic natural versus anaerobic natural. This is anaerobic natural. Oh wow. Okay, this is like rose, red fruit. It's super bright compared to this. Round, heavy acidity, or like long linger. You know, heavy fruits. Wow, I like funk, guys. This is not that funky. This is very clean. Okay. And then the wash. So now let's taste. Let's go like 1 to 5. So this is the classic washed. Wow. Lovely. You know, like if you're a washed coffee enjoyer, this is a great example of, you know, why people like Ethiopian coffees, why they like Tamiri, why they like this varietal. Very, very clean roast. Very layered. There's a lot happening here. It's very super sweet, super clean, you know, classic washed. But I would say that the interesting thing about this is that it's not like a searing picture of acidity. Like I have had some aloe coffees where it's like, the acidity is the first thing you experience, and it's very layered. What's interesting about this is it's like this yellow florality that you're getting. It's like yellow floral. It's very, very cool. And then let's go to anaerobic washed. Wow, dynamic, very, very sharp acidity. Really, really lovely expression of you know, processing. Like it's well done. You can tell that this anaerobic is boosting some acidity in here. It's not weird at all. It's not funky. It's not. There's no like roughness or weirdness happening from the acidity. Anaerobic natural. Let's taste. It's like a boozy rose. Like the rose note. There's the first thing I experienced is like this rose, a little bit booziness. Very, very like, you know, funky rose. Then it goes into really, really lovely strawberries, tropical acidity. But a lot of these coffees finish the same. Obviously, I'm brewing the same recipe, so what I'm doing is I'm doing like a declining temperature, so it really smooths things out. You know, gives us nice things. This has this really, really long finish that is pretty apparent. But I could see why people don't like this. You know, it's a little too funky. Some people don't like that stuff. But I think, you know, if you're out and about and you get served a cup of this, it's pretty memorable. This is like very, very memorable. Lactic wash. Let's taste this. The lactic wash is weird to me. You know, it's very, very milky. Like Yakult is totally a note on this, but it's a little too much of that for me. It's like all Yakult, and then the aftertaste, the finish, you get like the red apple and apricot, right? It's a little too much process forward, despite the process being not painful in any sort of way. Like it's the thing you experience, but I don't taste any weird like roughness, any weird like graininess in any sort of the processing. I just think like the first thing that I'm tasting here is that Yakult, and it's a little too overwhelming. And I think that is even more apparent with the lactic natural, where it's that Yakult and yogurt thing that you're tasting, but it's like, that's like the main thing I'm experiencing. And then it goes into like, you know, I would say like both of these coffees, like 60 to 70% of the first thing you experience is that process, is the yogurt and lactic part, and then it goes into acidity, right? This has like the natural, heavier fruit processing that we're experiencing. I think this is like blue and yellow leaning. This is like red and yellow leaning. This does feel, I mean, this is for sure cleaner than this one, but very, very like, just a little, like, I don't know, maybe I gotta let these cool down a little bit more, but maybe a little too much. Subtle, it's like milk tea for the lactic wash. Lactic natural is a little too weird for me. It's very interesting. It's like actually very interesting. It's like there's a lot happening here in the initial thing you taste and the finish. Little wacky, little whack. Anaerobic natural is super crispy acidity, very juicy, rose, like floral plus fruits. Special. It's like, oh my god, you know what this tastes like? This tastes like Special K. You know, if you have Special K, you have the freeze-dried strawberry, and you have the rest of the cereal. That's what that tastes like. And then this is like the most dynamic coffee. It's very, it's just like, wow. Okay, let me taste this. I think maybe my favorite might be the anaerobic. These are both very good. This is floral. So this is interesting. Lot 1 is very floral forward. You know, it might have been the recipe I was using, but very floral forward, very floral forward with like, I want to say like peach acidity, bergamot. Really reminds me in terms of expression like a lovely wash Panama geisha. But it's interesting to me because a lot of the Tamiru coffees I've tasted is like acidity forward. In the washed expression, whereas we're getting a lot of lovely floral forward, and I'm like, whoa, this is interesting. Personally, though, you know, I love acidity, and the anaerobic has this really, really searingly clear lemongrass or peach note, apricot, tropical acidity. It's very, very searingly clear compared to this one. This is like floral forward. This is like the acidity is the first thing you hit. Then you get like green tea, jasmine. It's clean. Both of these are very, very clean, by the way. So I think my favorite out of all these guys is anaerobic, washed. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna catch up on chat. I was looking at the 5. The 3 I consider 1, 3, and 4. Okay, I think 1 and 2, if you like clean coffee, 1 and 2 are very safe picks. 3 is interesting because it's like pink floral with like weird acidity, but it's not like insane. The lactic stuff, I'm not sure if I like these. I think if I were to pick one between the two, I'd probably lean towards lactic natural because it's very interesting. Like, it's like you're getting a hit of this yogurt and then you get a hit of this weird acidity, but I don't really like these as much as these. Like, and I think that's what's fun, right? It's like, you know, personally, I like to lean. I'm supposedly a wash coffee enjoyer, but in recent times, I've really liked a lot more of the interesting processing, right? Like Pepe's honey, I love that. I love that stuff. So, but of the set, I think, you know, for me, I think the anaerobic wash is my favorite. I would pick, if I were to pair that with the coffee, I'd pair that with the anaerobic natural, so that I'd pair the anaerobics together. Or I would pick, you know, maybe the lactic natural with the anaerobic washed. If you bought number 1, I'd probably do number 1 with the anaerobic natural or number 5. Then you get very different pictures. You actually can tell like the way this coffee presents and the way the processing is done. It's, you know, it's good stuff, right? This is all good stuff. I just think, you know, we're tasting like 1 and 2 against 5 here, and 1 and 2 are just like super clean. They're very, very just crispy presentations, very clear presentation of, you know, Ethiopian terroir, right, or of 74158, of Tamiru's processing, so on and so forth, right. So I think these are like very clear picture presentations of these coffees, and you know, my favorite out of all these is anaerobic washed. That's crazy, but I would pick the natural anaerobic natural here for a you know, a contrasting option. I feel like the lactic washed is probably my least favorite out of all of these, and I would have much preferred maybe just a normal natural, like if they were to try to really show you like what things can be. But I think they already have anaerobic natural, which already drives home the point. But I definitely could see, like, you know, the type of person who likes each of these. But it's super cool that you got all of these in this dinky little box here. And you know, I've been on for about an hour, and I've had like an hour of fun by myself. I guess I'm hanging out with you guys to taste all of these coffees side by side. So that's pretty cool. I like that, you know. And these are all tasty coffees, right? You don't have to brew them all together, right? You could have, of course, not done these all together, but I wanted to I wanted to taste these all together, so that's pretty fun. right? Like to be able to taste things side by side and do a comparative tasting, I think is the greatest tool to grow your palate and what you like or what you hate. And clearly, after today, you know, I like the processed stuff, right? I feel like the mid 2010s natural Ethiopia just meant pronounced funk and blueberry, and it was very polarizing. It'd be rough getting through a whole bag. Yeah. The crazy thing is that the yogurt natural and this anaerobic natural, at least obviously this is a different level, right? This is like good producer and varietal, is that like these are more funky processing than like on paper, right? They're like, oh, anaerobic natural. All right, this is going to be funky. Lactic natural. What the fuck does that mean, right? Like all of this is on paper a lot more process forward, but then you taste them against, I guess if you taste them against a standard low-ish quality Ethiopian natural, these are significantly cleaner, and I think that's what's really fun. So I feel like that's kind of like the direction that some of these producers are going. Is you know, okay, we can take some of our higher quality varietals and like you do some weird processing to it, but like the varietal can hold up to it. Also, the producers spend a lot more time and effort on it at times, so that, and you know, there's a lot of things that happen with sorting, whatever. But like basically, you know, it's like how far can you push the processing on if you try, right? And that's like I think what's happening with a lot of this hachi stuff, a lot of this pepe. You know, it's like, all right, let's do like, you know, on paper, you're like naturals and honeys are going to be weird, or anaerobic or whatever is going to be too funky. But when it's done well, it is actually cleaner, right? It's like, it's oftentimes where you hear like, oh, this is a wash coffee, but it's so, or it's so free that you think it's a natural, or it's like, this is a natural that, you know, is so clean that it tastes like a washed. But this one was my favorite. This, the Lot 2, Terraform Lot 2. I would buy a bag of that. I also would probably buy a bag of Lot 3. We are in anaerobic land, boys. It's over. I'm a fraud. We are friendship ended with wash coffee. Do I have any recommendations for recent Poland's Gold coffee? Let's look. Let's look at what they have on the website. I'm also going to hop off in a little because I have to do real work. Oh, they got Triangulo. You should get Triangulo. The El Triangulo Classic Washed. Good. They also have the Las Delicas. They have San Jose. The Nicaraguan coffees are pretty amazing. Alto, I would get. It's like $14, right? These are so cheap. Just pick them all up. All right. I hope we've learned something today on coffees. I'm going to probably taste a little bit of these later, but those are my favorites. So for anybody who picked these up, let's see if we can still buy them. I have never actually bought Terraform before. This is the first time I have ever purchased a bag of Terraform. Not even a bag. I bought a tasting box. But anyway, I think this is like such a great deal. Like the $20. Wow, that's pretty good. So okay, so let's read. Okay, all right. I found it on here. Obviously, you know, you guys could have could have done translations on here, but let's read each of the processing. So number 1 is washed. Wow. Okay, so here's all the processing. All right, so you guys can just scroll through that if you want to. I didn't need to do any translations because they already did the translations in there. But dude, number 2, wow, 22 days fermentation. Well, total, right? Okay, they dried, washed, raised beds, anaerobic natural, 96 hours. Lactic wash. My favorite, number 2, man. That's some good stuff. $20. Pretty good. I would buy a bag of 3 and 2. 2 and 3. Forgot to link this. Oh yeah. This one, by the way. Here, I'll change in my announcements. Very cool. All right. Yeah, quick stream because I had a little bit of time today. I might stream a little bit more this week depending on the schedule. You know, there's a lot of things to take care of. Yeah, some of the new coffees I have, you know, we're gonna mess with these guys, the new Hachis. We have a little bit more of the Esmeraldas, the washed Esmeraldas. We might re-release it. And then Moquita, I'm trying to do one more release, but these coffees should be already going out to you guys, if not delivered. There's a little bit more of the Haiku. So this is the one I think that will be the most fascinating to you all. Although I think this one's really good too because it's just a Katura. So these are going out to you guys. You know, please give us feedback. Might do a little bit better, you know. I can't believe somebody was like, this is too much coffee. Yeah, so maybe one more release to wrap up the year. It's definitely going to be a more premium release. And then beginning of next year for my birthday, probably the second or third week of January, we will release Aguacatillo, something interesting. It'll be fun. Yeah, but more to come. I am going to wrap up the stream now. So if you guys have any questions, go to the Discord. That's what Discord's for. We're gonna exclamation Discord it for the few of you guys who are watching. You know, but there are some other things coming out. There's some new videos I need to upload like tomorrow, later this week. There's a Raindrop collab happening also. So maybe we'll go over to TR's place to show off roasting. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So yeah. That's all for tonight. See you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed that. It was just a quick stream. Wanted to taste some of these coffees because I just picked them up and I looked at the roaster. I was like, oh, cool. We can taste these. And yeah. So that's all. If you guys have anything else, go to the Discord. Although I think most of you guys who are watching this stream randomly on a Monday, it's there. So yeah, that is all. I'll see you guys later.